MLB closing time show. We are back on Wednesday, August the 4th. Ian Cameron and Conor Mack ready to break down this Wednesday MLB slate. A few games already off and running on this Wednesday, and we've got the rest of the card on tap to break down and looking forward to that. Let's get to it. We've got the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees getting us going here with the evening slate on this Wednesday card. Matt Harvey, Jameson Taillon, the pitching matchup here. Yankees, huge favorites here in the minus 275 range, 9.5 the total in this one, shaded to the under. We need to acknowledge Matt Harvey a little bit for good reasons for a change. Not always the same old crap. We have to acknowledge that he now has had 3 consecutive starts of shutout baseball, 18.1 consecutive shutout scoreless innings pitched by Matt Harvey over his last 3 starts. Great job, and 3 wins in a row for the Baltimore Orioles. Can he keep it going here against the New York Yankees is the question. He might. He did face them back in April 26th. And, back then, Matt Harvey wasn't anywhere in the form he is now. And yet back in April, he held the Yankees to 1 run, 3 hits, 6 innings. Orioles win that game 4-2. So let's give Matt Harvey, of all people, his due for the way he's pitching right now. Taillon on the other side, you could say he's pitched better the last 5 starts. He's given up 1, 2, 0, 3, and 0 in terms of runs allowed his last 5 starts. The Yankees have gone 6-1. In his last 7 starts, he pitched up relatively well against the Orioles back in April, facing them 2 runs in 4.2 innings. This actually could be an under. Crazy to say that, right? These two offenses at times, these 2 lineups at times. We did see the overcash last night. All Yankees pretty much getting that game over the total. But boy, I like the improved form of both of these pitchers right now. They both pitched relatively decently. You could even say good against these opposing lineups earlier this season. So I would maybe look toward maybe a first 5 full game under split in this game. And I'm very much tempted, at least in the first 5 innings, if not the full game by Baltimore, for something here at this plus price. We are talking about Matt Harvey, 18 plus innings in a row without giving up a run. Getting this kind of number, that's a difficult thing to turn down. So that I'm looking at all of those angles here. First 5 under split, first 5 full game under split, first 5 full game Orioles at a plus number, splitting that up as well. Conor Mack, what do you think here? Orioles, Yankees.
Yeah, Taillon's pitched really well. And you talked about Harvey. 3 straight starts, 6 innings or more, no earned runs. And yeah, Taillon's 5 1/3, 7, 5 2/3, and he's only given up 1 earned run in 3 starts. I'm with you. I lean this first 5 under. Something's got me down on just a lean here. After both these 2 guys have pitched 3 straight games of looking great, scares me a little bit. That one of these guys could be back to their old self.
Of course.
But these lineups at times, I don't trust. The Yankees scored a bunch of runs last night. I don't know. And I know they got Rizzo and Gallo. Will that get going? Difficult. But yeah, that would be my lean. The first 5 under 5 here. And I think it's worth a shot. The Orioles at bats against Gill were pathetic. Thank God I got that 9 and got the over, because I took the team total as well, and they didn't do shit, and they looked horrible. They made him look really good. I think that kid might be a good pitcher, but he wasn't there even last night. But he got the outs and got it done. So they got to have better at bats today, and I think they will. And I think there's a shot. I take them their way. Taillon minus 270. I'd be on the Orioles first 5 here, right around plus 215 or so. And I think I'm going to play it.
Yeah, and Cedric Mullins earlier this season, Jameson Taillon had a lot of home run issues too at Yankee Stadium. I'm tempted by Cedric Mullins' Jack of the Day home run prop. He does have a homer against Taillon, 1 for 2 against him. Minimal at bats, but he still hit a home run against him. I'm looking at that potentially. I'm stunned by the past numbers for some of these Yankees against Matt Harvey. It's not just 1 or 2 guys. There's like 5 guys that have struggled against
him. Got good numbers.
Gallo, 1 for 5. Rizzo, 2 for 16 against Harvey. Stanton, 4 for 21. 190 batting average against Harvey. Rizzo, 125 against Harvey in his lifetime. DJ LeMahieu, a really good hitter, only 3 for 14. 214 average against Harvey. So he's dominated a lot of these bats. and yet I'm petrified that Harvey blows up tonight because we know that could be coming any minute with this guy. But you can't deny what we've seen out of him the last 3 starts. He's been terrific. I don't know if it's roids, real deal prime roids. I don't know. Did he drink a fountain of youth? I don't know. Water fountain of youth. Who the hell knows what's led to this? But you just got to roll with it right now. Your eyes are telling you he's pitching well right now. It's at this price. I think it's not the worst thing you could do to plunk a few bucks down on Baltimore, at least in the first 5 innings right here. Let me just see here. Harvey. Yeah, I'm just looking at it again. I'm just making sure my eyes don't deceive me, Connor, that, there's a lot of Yankees that have struggled against him in the past. So it just seems like everything's just lining up here. He hasn't given up a run in 18 innings. He's dominated so many of these Yankees. I want to take this plus price, and I'm worried that after the first inning, it's 5-0 Yankees. I don't know why I feel that way.
I know. That's why. Yeah.
But I do. I feel that way still. I shouldn't, because he's been terrific the last 3 starts. But it's Matt Harvey, and I always worry that could happen. The bottom falls out at some point. But fascinating. We'll see how it goes tonight. Phillies and Nationals next up. Chase Anderson, Paolo Espino, the pitching matchup. Nationals here about a slight home favorite here, a 9.5 the total in this one. I like runs to be scored. Actually, it's 9 shaded to the over this total. I think we get over the number. Good job by Conor Mack saying Phillies Nats over last night. 8 was the total. It got there late thanks to the shoddy bullpens that sometimes both of these teams have. I think you can go back to the well with the over here. I mean, Chase Anderson, we've talked about him a ton. I don't trust him at all. 6.75 ERA, journeyman fringe arm at best. Espino to me is not a guy that's cut out to be a starter. I like him in short sample sizes. Face a couple of key batters out of the bullpen in a relief role. I don't think he's necessarily starter material for the Nationals. You got 2 bullpens that we've seen them giving it up in the last few games. So we cashed with the over last night. I jumped on that as well late. Connor liked it. I'm going to come back to it tonight. We got the total sitting at 9, shaded to the over. I'm going to go Phillies Nats over 9 here in this one. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is too. Chase Anderson, hard to trust him on the road. It's hard to trust these Nats bats. They got going a little bit. Soto didn't have a good game. Bell hit the late homer. They got it over. And the lineup's not very deep after them. Hernandez, Clay-Boom, Barrera, Robles. So that's a little tough. I think the Phillies, they should have scored even more yesterday. And I think they'd have to have the bulk in this game. But yeah, I lean over. I haven't took it yet. The wind's kind of blowing in. I wanted to look at just double check the team total for the Phillies. It's probably juice tie here. Yeah, 4.5 minus 115. I might look at that as well. I haven't bet this one yet, but that's my lean over. I don't like Anderson. Espino's been okay. He could probably go through 4 innings, but he's nothing special. So yeah, I'm with you. I lean over. I just don't know how I'm going to play it.
Yeah, definitely. Did Jimmy the Bag like the first 5 under? Yeah, the 2 starters. I don't like them. I don't think as much as he does. But I like the full game over more than I didn't bet the first 5 total, just the full game. I don't like the starters as much as Jimmy does, but the bullpens are problematic in my mind too. So that's why I think the game over. You'll get those runs late like you did last night. That could very much be the case.
I don't blame him. I mean, the first 5's 5. You know me, hanging those 5s. Yep. I don't mind taking that under at all.
Yep. At all. And by the way, actually, it was 9. The 9s are starting to disappear. It's starting to move to 9.5 here. So there's only a couple 9s.
I still have a 9.
Still. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have a 9.
Find it is what I have to say. Find it quickly because it looks like it's going to be 9.5 pretty soon, painted across the board. Cleveland Indians, soon to be Guardians. Toronto Blue Jays next up. Steven Matz, the old nemesis of Conor Mack. On the mound for the Blue Jays here, and J.C. Mejia, Giancarlos Mejia for Cleveland. Toronto minus 215, home favorites. Total sitting at around 9.5 here across the board. This is a 3-way bet for me tonight. Toronto run line, I'm on that. I stayed off it last night. Disappointed because I thought Ryu would pitch well. He did, and they took care of. I just didn't know if they'd hit Plesac because Plesac's been good at times. And it's been, roughed up on a couple of occasions. And last night was one of those occasions he got roughed up a little bit. Zach Plesac, the home run ball was an issue for him. But I like the run line here with the Jays. I like the team total over for the Jays, 5.5 at even money, plus 100. And I like the game maybe to go over the total as well, just in case Matz is not, on top of his game. And sometimes he's not, but he's been very much up and down lately. But the one thing I'm very confident in, and especially here at Rogers Center, now that they're back home, they'll hit the living tar out of Gene Carlos Mejia. They damn well should. This Blue Jays team, he's absolutely awful. 7.6 ERA. This guy has no business being in a starting rotation right now. He just gets hit and hammered and smacked around every start. 6, 6, 4, 5, and 4 allowed by Mejia in his last 5 starts. The opposing team has scored 7, 8, 4, 8, and 6. So only once in those 5 starts has a team fallen below 6 runs in games started by Gene Carlos Mejia. So that gives me confidence Jays can get over 5.5. Like I say, 4 out of the 5 Mejia starts, the opposing team has scored at least 6 runs. I think the Blue Jays can score at least 6 runs. I think that's my favorite of them all. I like the run line. I like the full game over. I think my favorite of the 3 is definitely the Jays team total, over 5.5 plus 100. Connor, what do you like here, Cleveland, Toronto?
Yeah, I haven't been betting the Blue Jays that much because the prices are so huge. But this one I think is priced right. I mean, every time Mejia runs out, it's 4 at least. And I think the Jays could get to him today. It's just tough. I got to back my guy Matz. He could give up some runs, so I'd lean over. But I'm with you. I'd only be on the Blue Jays here in this one. I mean, Matz's last start, 3 innings, 4 runs against the Red Sox. He's up and down. Can the Indians hit him? They've been better a little bit against lefties. They're not crazy, but yeah, I'd only look Blue Jays run line or team total in this one. Maybe full game over if you think Matz, but I don't know what Matt's going to show up. He could go out and throw 6 and no earned and nothing, and the Blue Jays win 7-0. So I don't know about the full game over. I lean there though.
Yeah, 5.5. Yeah, definitely. We kind of see Blue Jays scoring runs. Well, by the way, Matz has a 1.47 ERA against Cleveland in the past. So he has done pretty well against Cleveland. We'll see if that continues here tonight. But they are hitting lefties decently. Yeah. I'm not saying they've been great against lefties, but look, their batting average last 10 games has been better against lefties than it's been against righties, and they're averaging more runs per game as well.
Yeah.
Lefties the last few games. So that's definitely good news for Cleveland. Maybe give them a puncher's chance to have some offensive success here against Matz and the Jays tonight. Boston Red Sox and the big show, Detroit Tigers. We've got Boston here, minus 155, road favorites, 9 the total in this game. Last night was a hell of a night for me in baseball. It was a really, really good baseball night for me. And one of the reasons for that, I should say 2 of the reasons for that, because I had first 5 and full game on them, was the Detroit Tigers getting the job done against the Boston Red Sox last night. And I'm coming right back to the well. The Red Sox, we've waited, and I've waited certainly, for weeks and weeks to see this team finally start to hit a little bit of a rough patch, finally hit a little bit of a losing streak, finally hit the shits a little bit. And they've finally done that. This is their longest losing streak of the season now, 5 in a row. The bats have gone cold. This mediocre starting pitching staff is finally being exposed. I don't want to use the word fraud, but come on. I mean, 3/5 of this damn team's pitching is Pivetta, Martin Perez, and Richards. I mean, you must be kidding me with this pitching staff. They're thinking that's World Series caliber from your starting pitching. I mean, and now it's finally the chickens are coming home to roost right now for this Boston Red Sox team. You can only survive this long into the season with just this starting pitching that is just mediocre at best, and it's finally happening. Throw Eduardo Rodriguez into that mix. I left him out. He's 4/5 of their starting pitching. You include him, and he hasn't had a very good year for Boston. 5.6 ERA, got roughed up by the Blue Jays in his last start. It's not a good sign whatsoever right now for this Boston team. I think the Tigers do a decent job against lefty pitching as well. So I think the Tigers offense, and look, there's a lot to like with this Tigers team. Akil Baddoo, Scope, Grossman, Miguel Cabrera, the old vet with the home run last night, Eric Haas, Candelario. They're all in good form at the plate. I got to do the Fred Flintstone, right? Badu 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 badu. Yeah. But yeah, Akil Baddoo has been really, really good for the Tigers at the leadoff spot. And then on the flip side, you got this Casey Mize kid for the Tigers, and we've backed him on several occasions this season. Continues to be relatively solid for the Tigers. He's a good prospect. He's going to continue to learn. He's going to continue to develop. And he's going to continue to get better. He has a 3.41 ERA this season, 2.3 in his last 3 starts. Good home ERA at Comerica, 3.15. You look at his last few starts, very good for the most part. Enters this game going 2 runs or less allowed in 5 of his last 6 starts. So he has been just pretty consistent for this Tigers team. Tigers 6-2 in the last 8 starts made by Casey Mize. So I'm coming right back to the well here. Detroit Tigers as a plus price home underdog. First 5, full game split, just like last night. Ride the Tigers and fade the Red Sox right now. Just not playing good baseball finally for the first time all season. Conor, Mac, what do you think here? Red Sox, Tigers.
Yeah, I can't take the Red Sox are just sliding. I think it's a stay off. This wouldn't be the spot to take them if I were to bet the Red Sox. Not minus 145 on the road until maybe they get back home and start swinging it well. This is a Tigers or pass spot for me. And I still have visions of that shitty bullpen of the Tigers at times, not all the time. But so I'd be on the Tigers' first 5 here. I mean, they got it done yesterday. See, at times, some games the bullpen can do okay. But I know Mize, he's got this pitch count. He might go 5, maybe. I mean, 4 or 5. So I want him in the game. He's pitched pretty well if you want the Tigers here. So first 5's plus 120. And I think they got to get runs off Rodriguez. You could want to be a little safer. The Tigers team total's just 3.5, minus 120. I think that's another look that you could look at. They've been hitting lefties, like you said. I don't know, they're at 290. I don't know, the last 20 days off lefties lately. So, yeah, this is a Tigers. I think the team total's a solid look, or the first 5, plus 120.
Yeah, 100% right. I think Tigers are worth a look here again. Someone in our chat saying, Henny V, Big Show needs his own show only capping Tigers games. Well, if that was the case, they'd never lose on that show. I don't know about that. Big Show may be unbiased. We'll have to wait and see. We'd have to do a check on that. Would Big Show be?
That'd have to be like the deepest dive.
Yeah,
I don't know how far you could go on one game.
Yeah. 100%. But yeah, Tigers, look, they've been good. And look, if you actually look at the last 10 to 15 games or so, the Detroit Tigers have the better offensive numbers. They've actually hit better than Boston, like over the last 10 to 15 games. So this is one of those classic August baseball betting situations. And I say this every year. If you're looking at the full season stats and the full season records, then everybody's slamming Boston in this game. You're looking at the Red Sox. Look at that record for Boston. Look at that Detroit team below 500. Yeah, but that's not the way baseball betting works. You got to look at short term. You got to look at smaller sample size. You got to look at the last 5 games, 10 games, 15 games. And that's what I focus on more. And that's what I put more stock on is the recent form, the current form, the short term. And the short term right now is the Tigers have played better ball than the Red Sox the last 10 games. Honestly, that's what we've seen. And that's why, to me, that's where the value is right now in a game like this. It's with Detroit. It's not with Boston until they figure their shit out. And we'll see if they can do that tonight. The Mets and the Marlins. We've got Carlos Carrasco for the Mets, Zach Thompson for the Marlins. We've got the Mets minus 150, road favorites, 7.5, the total in this one. Mets, thank you for a 9th inning key RBI that pushed that game over the total. Total was 8.5 in that game, and it took a 9th inning big hit for the Mets to get that game over the total, which made me quite happy. Carrasco on the mound here for the Mets. I would expect, in theory, Carlos Carrasco to be a lot more comfortable tonight. He finally had that start under his belt. Hadn't pitched all season, of course. On the injured list, finally made his return to the starting rotation and his Mets debut in his last start against the Reds. Kind of on a pitch count, kind of on an innings limit. Only went 4 innings in that game, 1 run, 3 hits. It was struggled early, but boy, I think he settled down more and more as that game went on, and I expect him to be stronger and better this time around. Now, he has faced the Marlins twice now, a long time ago, and a lot of the Marlins that were on those teams aren't still on the Marlins now. But he hasn't given up a run in 11.1 innings over 2 starts against Miami. Now, again, take that with a grain of salt, because a lot of those starts were years ago, 2016, 2019. But it is something to keep in mind. Zach Thompson for the Marlins, who actually has pretty good numbers himself, 2.33 ERA overall, 2.08 here at Marlins Park. He's allowed 3 runs or less in all of his starts this season since becoming a member and a regular fixture of this Marlins rotation. He's coming off a very good outing against the Yankees. 1 run, 3 hits, 5.2 innings. And that was a Yankees team that had just gotten Anthony Rizzo and Joey Gallo after the trade deadline over the weekend. So a pretty solid outing, all things considered, for Zach Thompson over the weekend against the Yankees. I was on the over last night. I think the first 5 under might be something you go with here in this game. I think Carrasco will be good. He'll settle in, second start. That rust will be out of his system. And he really got in a groove a little bit against Cincinnati after a rough kind of start to the game. I think you'll see him be better, more confident, a lot crisper, sharper, more efficient tonight. And on the flip side, look, Thompson, can't argue with the numbers. He's got a sub-3 ERA, an ERA barely above 2 in this ballpark. So we could see runs at a premium early. First 5 under is the way I would go in this one. Connor, Mac, what do you think here? Mets, Marlins.
Yeah, this is a good one, man. The Mets are in a funk. I don't think this is a dangerous part of the year until they maybe get Syndergaard back and DeGrom. Some of these guys, this could be a slide they don't want. I think they're in danger here. There's no way I could take them with Carrasco minus 150. I'd only be on the Marlins here as a home dog. Thompson, I'd like to back. I mean, he's only 2-4. Wins have been tough, but he's pitched well. He's pitched well at home. Usually can go about 5, maybe get to the 6th inning. But he's been good. I'm with you. A lot of places now it's 3.5. There's not a lot of 4s. First 5 under 4. The 3.5 is even money. I still lean that way, but I want a 4 if I were to bet it, if you could find it. So I lean that way, and I lean the Marlins. Carrasco settled in. I mean, after giving up that home run in his first start, but he had a little trouble in his rehab starts in AAA. We know he was good in the past with the Indians, but now you're going to put him on the road, minus 150. This Mets team's that's struggling. No way. It'd be Marlins plus the 140. And that first 5 under. You could go full game. The bullpens are pretty good. The Marlins, they've been spotty at times lately, but throughout the year, the Marlins and Mets bullpens have been pretty good. So you could go full game, maybe under 7.5, as both the first 2 games went over, I believe. I could be wrong. I know yesterday did. I think the first game did. You mute?
Yeah, I would only look first 5 under, and I would only look Marlins as well. I mean, and this is what the Mets do. They go through these runs where, they go through a nice little straight streak about a couple weeks ago before the All-Star break, and now the last few games, it's back in the tank for them. They've 1-5 in their last 6 games. They haven't hit a lick in a lot of these games. 3 runs, 2 runs, 1 run, 3 runs in the first game they lost to the Marlins. Yeah, they got 4 last night, but 2 of those were very late in the game. They did absolutely nothing against a middling pitcher in Nick Neidert last night for the Marlins. That's what you get with this Mets team. I mean, it's got to be frustrating for Dom Ricci. I mean, we love Dom. He's a great guy. He's going to have his 16th birthday on Dommy Gun. Yeah, he's a longtime Mets fan. He's got to put up with this inconsistent crap every single damn season from this team that he cheers for. It's got to be aggravating, man. They just can't pull away in this division. They're letting the Phillies, they're letting the Braves hang around in this division, and it's dangerous right now for the Mets. They got to win this tonight. Like, this is a big game for them. You want to get swept by the Marlins, and that's what you're looking at if you lose this game tonight. So it's very important for the
they play the NL West too.
Yeah,
coming up. Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah,
and the Mets are. You think you're worried about them now? They've actually had an easy schedule up to this point. They're going to face the Dodgers. They're going to face the Giants. They've got so many tough teams coming up down the stretch that it's definitely like if you're thinking the Phillies and the Braves could make a run at the Mets and win this division, bet them now, because look, the Mets schedule is going to get tougher, and they're struggling to beat your Cincinnati's at home, struggling to beat Miami. what are you going to do against those teams when you play them? So there's reason to be worried for this Mets group right now. No question about that. And they need some good things, positive vibes. They don't have them right now. We'll see if they can gain some traction and stop the bleeding tonight down in South Beach in Miami. Next up, we've got the Angels and the Rangers. Shohei Ohtani, Colby Allard on the mound here. Angels minus 180. Road favorites, 8 the total in this one. This is a game I'm just off completely. Angels, obviously, their bats exploded last night against Jordan Lyles. Not a shock, right? Jordan Lyles is what he is. Jose Suarez, I'll tell you what, pitched better than I thought. Texas kind of struggled early against him, but they finally got to him midway through the game. I was on the over last night. A nice, easy one there to see that game go over the total. I'm not involved in this game, though, tonight. I had the over last night. I'm going to stay off this game tonight. I think Shohei clearly has the edge over Allard, but I don't want to lay this price on the road with the Angels. And say what you will about Texas, but yeah, they got their asses kicked last night. Prior to last night, this team's been playing a little bit more competitive baseball. That being said, Ohtani's better than Allard. The Angels probably should win this game. It's just I'm not overly excited about laying a number like this on the road. You could go first 5. Yeah, as Brian Watson says in our chat, first 5 minus a half, round even money. That's manageable. If you like that, I wouldn't talk you out of it. Conor Mac, what about you here? Angels, Rangers?
Yeah, Ohtani, big road price, on the road minus 170. I think it'd only be Angels. You got to take a half a run here to cut it down. Allard's the big key here for me. He's just had a bad start after bad start after bad start lately, 5, 7, 6. And the last one was at home against Seattle. He's the key. I think Ohtani can shut down these Rangers at batters. And Allard has good numbers against the Angels. So that has me on this first 5 under 4.5. But Allard's got to be the key. If he gives it up, Angels scored finally some runs yesterday, and they had not been scoring before. But Ohtani's 1 for 7, Fletcher's 1 for 5, or he's 1 for 5 as well. Stassi 0 for 5. So some guys that haven't hit him, I might take a chance here on this first 5 under 4.5. Angels, Rangers.
All right, we move on to the Royals and the White Sox. Carlos Hernandez, Lucas Giolito. The White Sox here minus 260 home favorites, 8.5 the total in this one. The White Sox run line cashes last night, a 7-1 victory for them against the Royals, and now they send Giolito to the mound. And we've talked about Giolito not being, ace-like for the at times this season. 3 points. That being said, he's still got a 3.67 ERA, which isn't bad. I just think we expected a little bit better. At home, his ERA's solid, though, 3.14. More importantly, the last 3 starts, it's looking like Giolito's figuring his shit out and putting it together. 1 run, 3 hits, complete game, victory against Houston. That was mighty impressive, and that's really where the turnaround began for Giolito. He was outstanding against Houston. Complete game, 1 run allowed against the Astros. 1 run against a good Milwaukee team in 6 innings, 1 run in 6 innings against Kansas City just a few days ago. The Royals won that game, but Giolito deserved a better fate. He pitched well. I would expect him to pitch well. He's pitched well at home. He's pitched well against the Royals in 2 of his last 3 starts. He had 1 rough outing. Other than that, he's been good in 2 of the 3 games this year against the Kansas City Royals. Carlos Hernandez on the mound for the Royals in this one. I don't think he's got a great stuff by any stretch of the imagination. 4.98 ERA overall, 6.55 ERA this season on the road. And look, he shut out the White Sox at Kauffman Stadium last week. 6 innings of shutout ball against the White Sox from Hernandez. But now it's a short turnaround. It's 5 days later. This very good White Sox lineup gets to face him again. They're at home. They always hit better at home, the Chicago team. I think it's payback time for this White Sox team. Yeah, they got shut out by Hernandez in Kansas City. Try doing that now at Guaranteed Rate Field tonight. I don't see it happening. I think the White Sox get to Hernandez tonight, and I'm probably going to look at the run line again, just like last night. Come right back to it. And the one thing about these run line bets with Chicago, especially at home, where they've dominated all year, -1.5, by the way, run line for the White Sox is -125. Their bullpen's legit now. so that if they have a 2-run lead or a 3-run lead or a 4-run lead in the latter innings, they've got dominant type relievers now that can close the door and get that game home for the White Sox with the improvements they made with that bullpen at the deadline. So it's a bullpen that's definitely trending in the right direction, pitching better. Kopech, Hendricks, and of course Kimbrel. A lot of options now for Tony La Russa in that bullpen. So for me, it would be White Sox, and I'd go run line here in this one, if anything. Connor, Mac, what's your thoughts here? Royals and White Sox.
Big number here with Giolito. Like you said, his last 3 starts, he's been real good. Only given up 1. Just gave up 1 to these Royals. And Hernandez gave up nothing to these White Sox. Can he do that again? They're thinking no. And Giolito's at home. It's a massive, massive number. Giolito's pitched pretty well against the Royals. The one thing that's always his problem is the long ball. A lot of guys have homers off him. Perez with 2 and a bunch of guys with 1. Dozier, Santana, Benintendi, O'Hearn, Merrifield. So it's just a difficult game. I could see it. White Sox 4-0. I could see some runs here. The run line's a little too big for me as a home team in the White Sox here, -135. I'll mention it. I don't love them too much. The team totals. If you think they're going to get to Hernandez, team total over 5.5 plus 105. I have. So I'd rather go that route than the run line in this one. You're getting more value if you roll with the White Sox. Man, those Royals are tempting. I don't think Hernandez can go 6 again and and shut out the White Sox back at home, where the White Sox are a lot better and they beat up on teams. And the Royals played them well. I had them there at home. So it's just tricky spot here. Too big of a favorite in Giolito, -260.
Their bats are definitely overrated on the road. They do hit better at home. Look, if they get shut down tonight, that's definitely a worry, because just face this guy. This is where a lineup that's got some pop with Anderson and Moncada and guys like that, this is where they're supposed to make their adjustments and be a lot better. So we'll see if that is going to be the case here tonight because again, they just saw this guy 5 days in a row. Now they're in a ballpark where they hit better. They're seeing him again. Make your adjustments, have better approach. And if they do that, they should be able to have some success against Hernandez the second time around here tonight. Next up, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals. We've got Drew Smyly, battle of lefties, Drew Smyly and Jay Happ, who shockingly got picked up by the St. Louis team. One of many shocking moves for St. Louis. Curiously, Atlanta opened the road favorite, but curiously, the Cardinals are now favored. -110, -115, slight home favorites, 9 the total here in this one. Man, of course, the Braves, first 5 full game was my best bet on the closing time show yesterday. I was watching that first inning last night, Connor. I felt like one of those, evil character, bad guy actors in a movie or a TV show. Like I felt like John Lester, everything is going according to plan, and very soon John Lester will be destroyed. Laughing at that first inning that John Lester went through last night. What a shit show. I mean, 5 spot on the board in the very first inning last night. I just basking in the enjoyment of seeing John Lester get absolutely blown up early in that game. And Atlanta gets to him early, and then they cruised from there. And now the other head-scratching move of the deadline for the Cardinals. He makes the start tonight. Jay Hapless for the St. Louis Cardinals. We've been talking about this multiple times about how the hell St. Louis thought picking up Jay Happ and John Lester at this stage of their careers were good moves, but nevertheless, Jay Happ on the mound here for the St. Louis Cardinals. He was involved. His last start was that game that had me just losing my mind during this show. It was July 28th last week. It was that 17-14 game for the Detroit Tigers where the bullpen almost blew it twice. And Jay Happ gave up 9 runs on 10 hits and 3 innings in that game. Before that, he gave up 4 runs, 7 hits, 6 innings. Before that, he gave up 7 runs, 11 hits, 7 innings. What's the record for Jay Happ in terms of starts this season? It ain't good. He is on a slide of his team, his Minnesota team. This will be his St. Louis debut. The Minnesota Twins went 1-9 in his last 10 starts. I mean, absolutely brutal. Jay Happ has been. Not that Drew Smyly's anything to write home about, but he's been better lately, much better. It started out very, very rough early in the season, but he's pitched a lot better lately. There's no question about that. In fact, on the road this year, Braves are 8-3 in Drew Smyly's 11 road starts this year. So they've been winning with him on the road. I'm coming right back to Atlanta here. Even money, full game, first 5 and full game, team total. Yes, you signed me up for that as well. 4.5. I probably should have been on the team total as well last night, but I wasn't. But I would go right back to that as well. 4.5 team total. Atlanta money line first 5. Atlanta money line full game. I'd even go over 9 full game total, because the back of my mind, I could see Drew Smyly giving up at least a couple of runs. St. Louis really isn't hitting as very well at all lately. But I could see them getting at least a few runs, and that could be all you need. Just a few runs from St. Louis to send this game over the total, because there's a good chance Atlanta can get the rest of them. So Atlanta, 3 ways, first 5 full game team total. I like the full game over too as well. I think that can get there in the win column as well. Conor, Mac, what do you think here? Atlanta, St. Louis.
Don't know, boys. Don't know.
I got it right here. Yep. Solat. Thanks, brother, for Ian's Atlanta pick. $5. We appreciate it. Solat Media.
Wow. Yeah, the pressure's on Solat Media. You're going to be giving donos for winning best bets, man. I've got to make sure I get my game straightened out.
Yeah, Braves came through big. I took him half run, so I did get plus money that first 5. So I was right there. I don't know if I was at your full evil thing that you just did there, but I was pretty happy because the Brewers melted down for me there. But Hap here, he's hapless. It's a game I don't want to bet. It'd be over 9. Braves team total. I mean, like his last start, he has very good numbers though against a lot of these Braves hitters. Whatever you want to take to that. A lot of guys are 2 for 13. Soler 0 for 8. You know, one Smith's 4 for 9, but 1 for 5, 1 for 6. Freddie Freeman though 2 for 7, but he's Freddie Freeman. But yeah, 9 earned runs, 4, 7, 3, 5. He's good for 4 or 5. Smyly, on the other hand, he's been better lately. And he's kind of shoved it to me because he was really bad early in the year, and he was a fade for me. So, yeah, lean Braves. Their team total, I think, is a good spot. And I just go over in this game. I don't know about choosing a side here. I guess the Braves, everyone's hot on them. They had a big win. Can they keep it going? That's been their problem all year, is they've laid an egg the next day. So let's see if they can continue it today.
You're right about that. There have been some games where the Braves dominate and put up a shit ton of runs, and then after that, they fall flat the next day in the next game. So we'll see if they can avoid that here in this one. Cubs and Rockies. We've got Alec Mills, John Gray, the pitching matchup. Rockies here, minus 180. Home favorites at Coors Field, 11. The total in this game. Zach Davies, thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up last night. Absolutely drubbed by the Rockies. A miserable game for him last night. The Rockies end up pummeling the Cubs 13-6. And what else is new? The Rockies at home. And that's why I was on them in the first 5 in the full game. Split it up last night. Laid a little juice. It was like minus 140. But I was comfortable with it. I mean, Colorado, this Cubs team, we've talked about it. You know, they traded so many different players at the deadline, key bats, key players. And you're seeing the results of that now. This team's on a 1-6 losing skid in their last 7 games. So the Cubs just not playing good ball. I mean, patchwork lineup now after all the trades at the deadline. And now you got to face John Gray, who's been pretty solid overall. 3.71 ERA, overall 3.14 ERA at home, 2.95 ERA his last 3 starts. The Rockies are 7-3 in John Gray's 10 home starts this season. So I think he can do well here in this one. John Gray has not pitched ever, believe it or not, against the Chicago Cubs. So that could be a benefit. Although you could say the same about Alec Mills, who's on the mound for the Cubs. He hasn't faced the Rockies in his career either. But I don't trust Alec Mills in this ballpark. 4 runs, 9 hits, 6 innings in his last start against Cincinnati. Got roughed up a little bit. Given up a home run in each of his last 2 starts. His ERA is worse on the road, 5.93. ERA away from home for Alec Mills. And the Cubs are 1-4 in his last 5 road starts, 0-3 in Alec Mills' last 3 starts overall. This is a Rockies first 5 for me. Laying the half a run. Colorado Rockies minus 1.5, around plus 110. Full game run line as well. Minus 1.5, plus 110. Full game run line. And I'm on that as well as the first 5 run line, which is minus a half, minus 140. Is what you can get with that. Colorado minus a half, minus 140 first 5, and then the Colorado -1.5 full game run line +110. I'm on both of those tonight. I think the Rockies once again win by margin, just like they did last night. Connor Mack, what do you think here? Cubs, Rockies.
Yeah, I think it's the Rockies here at home. You just gotta lay it here real big. How'd you think a few days ago or a week ago? Rockies -170 against anybody, even at home. So yeah, if you're willing to lay the number, I just can't back the Cubs with their lineup right now. And Mills, he's been my kryptonite. One of these guys I can't get right. He's been a little bit hit lately, but he shoved it to me a few starts and has pitched well. So I like Gray at home. I don't know how much the Cubs are at. They had a big home run yesterday. They got that first 5 over 6.5. The wind's blowing in. I'm right back on it. Cubs, Rockies, first 5 under 6 here, -105. I'll dare them to score 7 again.
Yeah, I like that. Definitely. Last night it blew up because Zach Davies blew up. But that doesn't
Grand
mean
slam.
you have to shy away from coming right back to it. Exactly. But that doesn't mean it wasn't something that it made sense before the game. That's the thing. You can't go back and say what an idiot I am for a bet that loses. I mean, it did make sense before the game started. It's just that they don't always work out. That's sometimes the way it goes. Speaking of working out, I don't know if this is working out, but it's 7th inning stretch time. It's a form of working out. You're at least exercising and stretching your muscles a little bit. Whatever. I don't have muscles, but stretching your body is what I should say. But nevertheless, we got our West Coast games coming up. 7th inning stretch. Let's shout out everybody in the chat. 140 live viewers. Hit the like button. We appreciate that. Make sure you do that if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Again, thanks to Solat for the dono just a minute ago. We really, really do appreciate that very much. Brian Watson, LJ from H-Town, Real Deal Prime, DX Filer, Jake Kaiser, Michael Robertson, Solat Media, Kenny V, Rodney Barton, Robert Cherry, Eric Chang, Joey Harb, Nut Flush Allen, Bill McDonald. I like that Slovenia bet, by the way, as well, in the Olympic men's basketball. They're going to the final. They are beating France, in my opinion. And I think they're facing the States. I think States will beat Australia, but I don't want to lay 11.5 with the States. I'll tell you that right now. Australia can play. I don't know, might. Those guys can play down there. Ingles, Della Vadova. That's a good, decent team. I mean, that's not a – they better be ready to play the U.S. The U.S. does seem to be gelling, though. They do seem to be getting better. They beat the absolute tar out of Spain in the second half in the last game. So the States is getting there. They're getting better. They might be dangerous moving forward, but I still think 11.5 is a lot to lay with them in that game. Anyway, we move on. Everyone else, Gabe Martinez in the chat, Michael Robertson, Ricky Levine, Muhammad Joma, Raw Dog 12, John Roy. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us here on this Wednesday edition of the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show. Kevin DeFriedis, not applicable. Nathan Cerna. I think we hit it. Gerald Jones. There we go. I think we hit everybody. Yeah, Brewers just got a 3-run homer. So if you're on the Brewers minus a 1.5 today, you're very happy with that. They're now up 4-2 in this game. I shied away from the Brewers run line today because their bullpen is ravaged by COVID right now. The Brewers. So they've got a ton of relievers out right now. So don't cash your tickets yet if you're on that Brewers run line. That bullpen is shorthanded right now. And you still have 6 outs to get in that game against Pittsburgh. So be careful. Be careful. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, as they say, that old saying. All right, let's continue on. West Coast action. Houston Astros, LA Dodgers, Jake Odorizzi, Max Scherzer making his LA Dodgers debut tonight. Should be exciting. Dodgers -205, -210, home favorites, 8.5, 9 the total in this game. Obviously, Max Scherzer, very, very happy to be traded. Now back in a playoff mix again, a World Series contender situation. 2.76 ERA for him this season. Very, very strong numbers. Very good year overall. You know, he's always capable of giving up the odd home run ball. That's always the issue sometimes with Max. But, you know, other than that, he's been solid. Jake Odorizzi, not as much the last few starts. He's given up 10 runs in his last 13.1 innings of work. So he has gone backward. Remember, he had that little blip a few starts ago. He's starting to pitch a little bit better. Well, now he's gone backward again, Jake Odorizzi. So there's no way I'm stepping in front of the Dodgers here. Off a loss last. By the way, let's give Lance McCullers a ton of credit last night. You talk about a big-time start. The Dodgers fans were ruthless last night with Houston, firing out inflatable trash cans onto the field during that game last night, booing their ass off at the Astros relentlessly throughout that game. It was a frenzied environment. It was obviously a nasty environment if you're an Astros player. And all the Astros do is go in there and shut everybody up with a 3-0 shutout win and a terrific outing by Lance McCullers. So let's give McCullers credit. He was dealing indeed last night in that game, and he performed outstanding. That's a big-time start by McCullers. And if that's the kind of start, last night, Connor, that if you have doubts about McCullers being able to do this at playoff time, you're going to go back to last night and say, maybe he can because of a start like he had last night. That was outstanding. That was a big spot, a big-time game against a really good team, a fired-up team, and you shut him down. So let's give McCullers credit, an outstanding outing from him last night. Tonight, I'd look over the total, believe it or not. I think Dodgers hit Odorizzi. The Houston bullpen, again, he's not going to pitch deep either. You're going to see a lot of middle relief for Houston, and it's not very good. So I think the Dodgers could put up a 5-6 spot tonight. I really think they could, and they will after getting shut out last night. I like the Dodgers lineup. And conceptually, they often bounce back when they were shut out the game before. I think they will. But I think the Astros can tack on a couple against Scherzer and the Dodgers bullpen. Scherzer still gives up the long ball every now and then, and the Astros can hit the long ball. So I think it goes over 8.5, a sneaky over here. 9 is the number at a lot of spots, but there's still some 8.5s out there as well. So make sure you shop around. But I'm going to take a shot with the over here tonight. Connor, Mac, what do you think? Astros, Dodgers.
Yeah, it should be another good one. I actually lean over a little bit with you as well, and I was on the under last night. I think this will be tight too, but I think the Dodgers score runs tonight off Odorizzi. But Odorizzi's sneaky. This guy has really good starts where he can get hit around. But like you said, the Dodgers, after they don't score, they usually do score. After getting shut out, they put up some runs. And Odorizzi lately, he's been 4 2/3 or 5 innings, 3 runs, 4 runs, his last few starts. I think this one they'll be super hyped. Scherzer's on the mound. Crowd should be electric. Yeah, I'm on the Dodgers here. I'll go run line. I don't take them often at all, really. Bet the Dodgers, but here I think this is a good shot tonight. The team total is interesting. I do think they score runs, and you probably get a 4.5 with juice -140. But the 5.5, it's just, can they get more than 5 here is a big case because it's staring at me at +115. I almost want to pull the trigger on that as well. And Odorizzi, though, hasn't faced a lot of these Dodgers. Just Betts, a few guys, Pujols. But he's a typical righty like this that they could hit.
Right.
And I think Scherzer will be pretty good on the mound tonight.
The guy that I'm staring at to get the home run tonight off Scherzer is Michael Brantley. 15 for 44, 341 average. That's a great long sample size. That's not a couple of at-bats. That's 44 at-bats, 15 hits, 341 average, and a home run in his career against Scherzer for Michael Brantley. So that's the one I'm eyeing for Jack of the Day here. One of the home run props, Brantley for the Astros. And yes, I think we can get the over here. By the way, Scherzer's ERA in his career against the Astros, 7 appearances, 6 starts against Houston for him, for Mad Max, 3.38 ERA. That's okay. That's good. It's good. It's okay. But it's not dominant. It's not like lights out. It's not like we shut this team down type of ERA, 3.38. So that's exactly why I think the Astros can contribute, on the scoreboard tonight. And I think the Dodgers will take care of the rest because I think they'll get a handful off Odorizzi and they'll dig into that Astros middle relief of their bullpen, which is very weak, which doesn't have any quality depth to it, which has struggled most of the season. And that's why I think we can get that game over the total. Again, the Astros bullpen problem, and even the Dodgers, their bullpen at times can be good, and at times, it's just a dog's breakfast. So something to keep an eye on there. Should be a good one. Final game, San Francisco Giants, Arizona Diamondbacks. We got Kevin Gausman, Zach Gallen, the pitching matchup here. Gausman and the Giants, 180. Road favorites here, minus 180 to minus 190. The total is 9, shaded to the under in this game. The over is the way I would lean here. Gausman is a pump the brakes on pitcher for me right now. I'm worried. I'm officially a little worried about Kevin Gausman because it's been a great, first half of the season for him. No doubt about that. He was outstanding pre-All-Star break, not been the same post All-Star break. And it's not just not been the same. It's been roughed up big time. You look at the last 2 starts in particular, 6 runs, 8 hits, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are the team doing that. Pittsburgh, not Dodgers, not an Astros, not a Rays or a Yankees or any. Think of any great lineup, Blue Jays. Think of any great lineup in the major leagues right now that you can think of. It wasn't any of those teams doing that to Kevin Gausman. It was the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6 runs, 8 hits in that start. And then last time out against the Astros, he struggled. 3 runs, 6 hits, 4.1 innings, gave up a home run. They worked him over. The pitch count got up there into the 80s, and not a good outing for Gausman there. So I'm a little concerned about him. He has dominated the Diamondbacks this year. 2 runs and 13 innings pitched against them. 8-0, 10-3 wins for San Francisco. I want to take San Fran, believe it or not. I like them in a bounce back spot. They lost last night to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They've been very good off a loss. Excellent, in fact, off a loss the majority of the year. They just haven't fallen into these lulls where they lose a bunch of games in a row. So I like the spot for the Giants. I just don't know if I want to lay $1.80, $1.90 with Gausman based on the way he's pitched in the last 2 games. He does have a good road ERA, 1.55. 8-4 in his road starts this year of the Giants. And I don't say as much as I like Gallen and I thought he'd be a bet on pitcher, he has kind of been up and down since rejoining the rotation. 4.61 ERA this season overall for him against the Giants. He's lost both starts against them earlier this year. Gave up 7 runs in just 4.2 innings. Really rough for Gallen in both previous outings against the Giants. So it's a game where I think it's a Giants spot. I want to back the Giants off a loss more times than not, but I'm pumping the brakes because Gausman's been not the same the last 2 starts. And maybe this is the right team for him to face to bounce back. We're talking Arizona. We're talking one of the worst teams in baseball. Maybe in theory, it could be a bounce back for Gausman tonight, but I'd rather just sit back and see before actually laying the wood or taking the Giants -0.5 or -1.5, any of that. So lean Giants run line, but I'm going to probably end up staying off. Connor, Mac, what do you think here? Giants and Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I lean the Giants too. Both these pitchers just haven't been good lately. I'm worried Gausman, maybe the innings have crept up. He hasn't looked good. He's only gone 4 1/3 his last few starts. A couple starts against Arizona have been good this year. At Arizona, 5 innings, no earned runs. And then at home, he went 8 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. So I have to lean with him. If he was in a little better form, these pitchers, I'd be on this first 5 under 4.5. I do lean that way, but I'm a little scared shitless of how they've been pitching lately. Because then full game, I kind of think over. I think Giants could get some runs off Gallen and that bullpen. It's just laying -180 on the road. I got away with it in game 1. I didn't want anything yesterday. D-backs came out and won. And it's a difficult price. This is a home dog. It's tricky. D-backs have been swinging a little bit better lately. And you saw some of these pitchers for the Giants might be running into innings and getting a little tired. So interesting game, interesting spot. I will be watching tonight, but I don't think I'm going to have anything on this game.
Yeah, I like that, sweetening the pot of that little story of Conor there. Wouldn't you love that as a Dodgers fan, right? Just to see the Giants just they're pitching a lot now. The innings count is getting up there. The pitch count's getting up there. Now they're going to get worn down and beaten into the ground here these final 2 months, and the Dodgers are going to catch them and win the NL West, and everything ended the end. Fairy tale ending, right?
That will happen. You just said it.
Yeah.
I already see it.
Already see it happening. Well, that's going to be the key, right? It's one thing to fend off the Dodgers beyond the All-Star break. It's another thing now, can they fend them off for the final 2 months of this marathon season? And that's the challenge ahead of the Giants moving forward, especially with the Dodgers absolutely bulking up, at the trade deadline. So, although the Giants added Chris Bryant, so they added some nice piece, a big piece to their lineup as well. But again, these are the guys you got to watch for. Like I'm cheering for the Giants. You think I want to see the Dodgers win another World Series? No, I was happy for them last year, and good on them for winning last year. Even though it was the Rays, I would have liked to see the Rays win last year, but I didn't say I really don't want the Dodgers to win because they were one of those teams they had failed to get over the hump. They finally did, so it was nice to see that. But definitely, the Giants are one of these crazy stories. It's hard not to root for them. But yeah, you got to be concerned moving forward. I hate to say this for our guy Nut Flush Allen, but Alex Wood, Kevin Gossman, and DeSclafani have all been a little bit chink in the armor, the last few starts since the All-Star break. So, and they've counted on those three guys so much to get to this point. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pitch August and September moving forward for the Giants. But great stuff, Connor. That is your look at the Wednesday MLB card. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Again, smash the like button if you haven't already. We'll get to best bets and Jack of the Day in just a second. But first, words from our sponsors, Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101, when you're in San Antonio, make sure you stop in. Great food, drinks. We've got live music there, DJs, karaoke, great bar experience. Southtown 101 in San Antonio. Manscaped, promo code PubSports. You get 20% off your purchase using that promo code Lawnmower 4.0, new and improved. Take care of yourself. Get any Manscaped product and get 20% off your purchase with the promo code PubSports. And mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. We've got obviously football season, NFL preseason, and the 2021 CFL season. Both start tomorrow night. Can't wait for that. College football just a couple weeks away as well. MyBookie.ag, Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. There's no better time to sign up for an account now. Get yourself ready for football season. Sign up at MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code PubSports. Speaking of CFL, reminder, tomorrow, the season premiere of Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy. You'll remember that show was on this channel last football season, although it was mostly an NFL show last year. This year, we're going to be doing so much other NFL content and shows, and so much college football shows and content that the Football Frenzy show that I'm hosting on my own this year, Thursdays, same time as last year, Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow will be the season premiere edition. It'll be all CFL pretty much. On Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy this year. It'll be the de facto CFL show here on Pub Sports Radio. We'll break down the CFL games each and every week on Thursdays all season long. Looking forward to that. And excited to have a special guest join me tomorrow. Grey Cup champion, all-star wide receiver in the league, Chris Getzlaff, joining me on the season premiere edition of Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy. We'll preview the CFL season. We'll look at all 9 teams. And we'll break down the Week 1 CFL card, which gets underway tomorrow night. So looking forward to that. Make sure you don't miss it. Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy season premiere tomorrow, Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And make sure you check out all the other shows on the channel too. Betting with the Bag with Jimmy, 4 days a week, Tuesday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Gogster now has a golf show 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Live UFC streams during the cards, Bellator as well. Razor Sharp Picks and the Horse Guys. With the horse streaming at night, including tonight. We've got one.
With the Sarge.
Make sure you check that out. Yep, exactly.
On
Great
TVG.
stuff. Nice stuff. Absolutely. Sarge from I check out TVG every now and then. They've got people that know what they're talking about. They just good channel. If you're into the horse racing, you got to have TVG. Definitely on the television. It's good. It's a good tool if you're into the horse racing for sure. That network and the work they do. So all of that right here on Pub Sports Radio, and including the Football Frenzy tomorrow with me. Looking forward to that. To our season premiere edition tomorrow. All right. So with all that out of the way, let's move on now to best bets in just a second. But first, as always, Jack of the Day.
Well, see you later.
Right. Good stuff. It is time for Jack of the Day. We've got a lot of options right now for a Jack of the Day today. I mentioned a lot of them already. I'm definitely interested in a couple of these earlier that I mentioned. I'm blanking on it now. Sometimes you just have there it is. Cedric Mullins against Jamison Taillon. I mentioned him earlier. I think that's a good Jack of the Day candidate right now. You could look at, I think, in a couple down the board here. Oh, yeah, Sal Perez against Giolito is not a bad look, even though Giolito's pitched better as well. I mentioned Michael Brantley against Max Scherzer. It's a pretty solid look in terms of Jack of the Day candidate. He hasn't hit one against Jay Happ, but Jorge Soler is on a tear. It should be Jorge Soter right now, as in he's on a tear for the Atlanta Braves. He had a home run last night in the first inning. Jorge Soler, I think, is worth a look too against Jay Hapless tonight to hit a home run. So those are some of the home run props for me tonight. Connor Mack, what do you got for Jack of the Day?
I might take a shot with Bo Bichette. He's plus 425. The Yankee guys are a little cheap, Rizzo and Gallo, so I'll stay off. Jonathan Scope plus 550. Brantley and Yuri Gurriel plus 500. Same thing with the Dodgers. You could take Muncy, but some of these prices are getting a little low. They're like plus 250. But I'd look at that because I think the Dodgers get a couple of homers tonight. And I'll go back with Freddie Freeman because he's plus 450 again, as I had yesterday. So give me another Freddie Freeman Jack of the Day.
Yeah, absolutely. Freddie Freeman, that was one of ours yesterday. He had the numbers, Freddie Freeman as well, against John Lester last night, and he ends up coming through with a home run against him last night. All right, it's time for best bets for this Wednesday card. Connor Mack, what do you got for best bet?
I almost win. It'd probably be the first time I take the Dodgers all year and not even bet them best bet, but I'm not going to do it. I like them run line, and I'm thinking about the team total. I'm going to the team I'm wearing on my head. Allard's got to pitch well. I'm on Ohtani. I'm on Angels, Rangers, first 5 under 4.5. I don't love these lineups, so I think they're going to be low scoring early.
All right, there you go. LA Angels, Texas Rangers, first 5 under 4.5. Best bet here for Connor Mack on this Wednesday night MLB card. My best bet is going to be I'm going to do the Big Show special tonight. First 5 innings. I'm going to do it. Detroit Tigers. And go for the plus price, plus 140 against the Boston Red Sox. I like Mize. Mize is definitely not going to pitch deep. He very rarely has gone beyond 4 or 5 innings. That's usually been his plateau recently. And if he can get through 4 or 5 innings and pitch as well as he has for the majority of his last 5-6 starts, I think the Tigers can get a lead early. Now we're going to see more Tigers bullpen. That isn't necessarily always a good thing. Some nights they do pitch well out of the pen, and then there's others it's just a horror show. So I'd rather take that element out of it and go with Tigers first 5. I did bet the full game for Detroit as well, but I'm going to go a little bit more with the first 5 here. Tigers, first 5 innings here against the Boston Red Sox, which you can get at plus 120 to plus 130 currently. Make sure you shop around for that. Detroit Tigers in that plus 120 to plus 130 range, first 5 innings against the slumping Boston Red Sox. That'll be my best bet for tonight. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show for Wednesday, August 4th. We will be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, Connor and I, with Jose Bouquet on the Thursday edition of the MLB Closing Time Show. And a reminder, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, the season premiere of Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy. getting you ready for the CFL season, which kicks off tomorrow night. Season preview. We'll break down every game on the Week 1 card. Former CFL wide receiver Chris Getzlaff joining me as a special guest on the show tomorrow as well. Looking forward to that. So tune in to Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy. For Conor Mack.
He's not related to Ryan, is he? No.
He's Ryan's brother.
Getzlaff.
He actually is. Yep.
Is it? No shit.
He is.
Yep, I was just fucking around. Wow.
Absolutely.
All right.
No, it's absolutely true. Yep. They are brothers indeed. Different sports they played,
All
but
right.
they are indeed. He is indeed the brother of Ryan Getzlaff, who is actually going to be back with the Anaheim Ducks, which is, I'm going to have to ask him off air. Like, how did your brother end up deciding to stay in Anaheim? Doesn't he want a cup at some point down the road here in his final years of his career? But nevertheless, he will be joining me tomorrow, his brother Chris. So looking forward to that. Football Frenzy tomorrow, Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on Pub Sports Radio. For Conor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Cash some tickets. Hit the like button on your way out. And we will see you again tomorrow on Thursday for another edition of the MLB Closing Time Show right here on Pub Sports Radio.